This is Hannibal here from the Hannibal TV on YouTube with a review today of a new documentary WWE put up today on their Vault YouTube channel. And I'll call it as I see it. I can't watch 2 or 3 minutes of like an episode of Raw or one of these highlight videos, but I did manage to make it through this documentary, and most of it was enjoyable. It's about Shawn Michaels and Diesel. They call it Two Dudes with Attitude. I'll tell you the part that wasn't enjoyable, and they should get rid of this guy. Because towards the end, I even had to fast forward through his parts. They have this complete nerdy geek guy as the quote unquote wrestling expert in this documentary. And he's got an annoying voice, but he talks about wrestling like he's such an expert on it. And it's like, who the hell are you? And he's like talking about like how the psychology, this psychology, that. It's like, you're not even a wrestler. Who are you? And like, why are you in this? And why are you in this so much? Because it actually gets nauseating listening to this guy. But they also talk to Bruce Pritchard's in it, Shawn Michaels, and Kevin Nash. I have wrestled Kevin Nash before 3,000 fans in Thunder Bay, Ontario, with Terry Funk refereeing it. I've met him a few times. He's pretty much like the guy he comes across with on screen. I've met Shawn Michaels backstage at a few WWE events in the early 2000s. They were using me as an extra here and there. Very brief conversations with him. I liked him better in when he first turned heel. So like the point in time before he started getting his push, basically when he was with Sherry, and the short period of time after, that was my favorite Shawn Michaels era. This whole like late 93, 94, 95 era is one of the worst eras of WWE. They didn't even come to Ottawa, the capital of Canada, in 94 or 95. They didn't do even one show. They're not coming this year either. But like, just to show you how bad business was in 94, 95, they went from coming like 2 or 3 times a year minimum to not coming at all for 2 years. So the way that this little geek guy, the way he's talking about this period, the Two Dudes with Attitude period, like this was like a period of time that was so entertaining to watch. I mean, I distinctly remember as a kid watching WrestleMania 11 and hating it. WrestleMania 11 and 12 were my least favorite of the early WrestleManias. 13 was pretty good. And then by 14, I developed other interests and stopped watching all the pay-per-views. But up to WrestleMania 13, I never missed any of the pay-per-views, even the in-your houses. But in the era of the Two Dudes with Attitude, to me, it wasn't a good quality era of WWE. Diesel was talented. It's good hearing the backstory. It's interesting, and maybe it's because of all the Ring Boy scandal and all this. I mean, Patterson wasn't directly involved in the Ring Boy scandal, but it's interesting because Patterson was such a key role in Shawn Michaels' career. He's not mentioned at all in this, and if he is, it went over my head. But I don't remember hearing anything about Pat Patterson in this documentary when he was like a key guy pushing for Shawn Michaels behind the scenes. If there was any reason why he had that special interest in Shawn, of course the rumors are out there. Why Shawn got away with so much that he did backstage in those days, but all they are is rumors. They don't really get in at all in this documentary of the click backstage stuff. They do show some backstage stuff from Madison Square Garden when Diesel wins the title from Bob Backlund, where he says he hadn't even had 200 matches by that point. So that was interesting to see. Where when they talk about the what was it that when they all hugged in the ring, the curtain call before Shawn and Razor left. I mean, I think they had to cover that, but it's another thing. There was nothing really new in that. We've all heard about that to death. The one interesting thing about the curtain call moment that people don't talk about is the Ultimate Warrior was apparently the one on most of the publicity for that show, and he helped get a good crowd in there for that show, but no one ever talks about it other than people that were there from the market that told me, hey, this was a big deal because the Ultimate Warrior um, was advertised for this show, and I guess he hadn't been to Madison Square Garden for a while at that point, but that kind of gets left out of history. But overall, yeah, other than the geeky guy talking, I think they exaggerate how over the feud with Diesel and Shawn was, because to me it just wasn't good. Like it wasn't exciting, it wasn't entertaining. I actually liked WCW better in this era. And then when Diesel, they just cover the start of it at the end when Diesel jumped to WCW. I mean, then WCW just started whooping their asses until WCW dropped the ball. But although I found this interesting overall, one of the interesting things Shawn Michaels talks about it is I guess Kevin Nash taught him how to pick up girls and stuff more because he didn't have a lot of confidence to pick up girls. But they don't talk really about the Syracuse thing much. Or any of the backstage heat that they have really to any extent. But it's better than watching Raw or SmackDown this week. Yeah, Chris. 93 to 96 was a horror. That's the one thing I don't like about this. We have this complete dork coming on and telling us how cool these guys were, and if we listen to this guy, he'll make it seem like this was crazy over, but it's like this was not an entertaining time in WWE at all. I thought Diesel was good. I hated his music, which I find it's funny, like when he wins from Backlund, all you hear is that truck honking music, which was one of the worst themes of all time, and I think he would agree on that. The Diesel theme music. Oh my God. That was terrible. But yeah, Diesel became really cool. I mean, he was cool in those days that he just wasn't presented properly. And when he came to WCW, I mean, he just got over like crazy. And it's definitely a great career move, and it led to some of the most entertaining stuff in the history of wrestling. And then WWE got better. I'll tell you, DX was entertaining. I'm not hating on Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels has had good or bad, but the whole making it out like the dudes with attitude was like a really entertaining time in WWE. To me, that's just painting history different than it happened, because that was one of the most boring times in the history of WWE. You had the Goon, TL Hopper, Jim Neidhart playing a character called Who, this terrible wrestler Alex the Pug Porto, Freddie Joe Floyd, who was a good guy, Tracy Smother, but a horrible gimmick. You had Skip and Zip. Like it was just brutal. When am I going to interview Nails? At some point I will, when the price is right. But let me know what you guys thought of it. Think of it in the comments. I mean, I'll give it like 4 or 5 out of 10. I made it through, had to do some fast forwarding, but overall, I mean, I'd give it a 4 or 5 out of 10 for a documentary. Yeah, Techno Team 2000. Oh God, they were around during this time too. It was awful. So to paint the history like, oh, it was a good time in history. They did mention that like it was a transition time, but like it was brutal. Happy 4th to you too.